Hopefully this works. Thanks for joining me. I think this is a better angle. We'll see what happens. So, once again, thanks for popping over. Whoever is here. I don't think anybody's here right now. Oh, whoops. So right now I'm going to just work on my track. And I think I brought up the fact that I chose not to develop tracks focused on public gain, like in regards to sending it over to places like Deezer and iTunes, TuneCore. I think at one point I managed to get a track on iTunes on my own, so I think I know technically how to do that if I really need to. But I'd rather, like, my personal opinion is I'd rather bypass choosing a third party to distribute the music, because it's just, they take so much from people. And then at the same time, what happens is not only are they taking things from people, but they're also now, I mean, I think Spotify is doing that, is now they're using it as testing or testing for AI music, which I don't technically agree with unless you really know what you're doing. I don't think that's very cool. I think TikTok is doing the same thing. I was on TikTok for a while. I was selling clothing. I was marketing for them. But I stopped because once I heard the news that TikTok is like, I mean, we know that it was going to be owned by the American group of people, I immediately realized, no, this is like totally a bad idea. I backed away a little bit. I stopped putting my music on their platform because I already knew, like, something is up. Something is up. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna be editing this crap. Somebody had mentioned violin. I'm like, I could do violin. I do think that something needs to happen here first, though. Where is it? Let me just hear this part. Singular. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Let's start here. I just want to double check. I need to see if I need to take that part. Okay, so what I could do is technically get this part. One. Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh, this is going to be... The tedious part about production is going back and revising what you've done and trying to edit so you can add more things in. Oh, sorry. I'm talking to myself. Apologies. Give me a second, folks. Not everybody's interested in the production side of things, hey? Welcome in. Thank you. I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing well too. My apologies that back was turned to work on the production. I'm trying to get this piece right, but there are so many things to a composition that is like a whole different level. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. If you want to know the chord structures, if you want to know how I develop the piece, feel free to ask, because I am here to, I'm an independent artist. I don't necessarily work for a producer. I am the producer, I guess, in this case. I've assisted producers in the past, but I'm not working for anybody. I work for myself. The money that I generate is not from the music at the moment. It's from fashion. So when I have like a music teacher, music student and stuff, but I was teaching music. So yeah, teaching music. I do my own productions. I don't necessarily send my music over to a third party, because I don't necessarily believe that that is the right approach. I think that they take a big chunk of the money that you should be owning on your own terms, which is why I've kind of rebelled about the industry. I mean, I know it too well to kind of place myself in a position where I'm going to go ahead and like, oh, you can have the rights to everything, because I just don't believe in it. I'm a rebel. That's what it is. I'm a rebel, and I refuse to listen to people in the industry, and I think I was right about that. So, and right now what I'm doing is, in order for me to use music on places like social media, you literally have to have like all the rights. You need to own it, and you need to have proof, which is why I do it on the live, because the live actually has the proof and the evidence to show, for instance, like YouTube, that this is in fact what I've been working on. So all the lives that you've seen, if you have been on the lives, you've seen that I've actually done that. Okay? So that's very important. I'm gonna go back and do this. If you have any questions, I'm gonna work my best to like welcome in, folks. Daniela, Blue Arch 28, Amy Lenz, Isabel. I'm seeing some of the names there. Thanks for popping over. But if you do have any questions, I'm busy. I have to kind of jump around. Oh, we have to invite I have my business partner. He's very important into this. Right here, come here. He's like, what are you doing? Say hi to everybody. Who's that? Oh, say hi to everybody. He likes to be on camera. That's the business partner. Okay, you go. Gotta welcome people in with him. Oh, that's and you can't use those words on here. I could actually block you, so please be kind on my channel. Yeah. Okay, so I need to figure out what's going on here. I need to add, like, they said add a violin. I could add a violin, but I need to take out a few things here. Orchestral, percussion, guitars. I guess violin is orchestral, right? Strings. What strings do we have here? Violin. Violin 1, viola, violin. Strings, come on. Oh, did I like... It's scanning. Crazy. Pipes, keyboard, woodwinds. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I do anything, I should actually technically not mess anything up and add a new track, because the moment I shift that, that's going to be a problem. Okay, where do we put that? We placed it there. Okay. And now we're going to shift over to woodlands. Oh, where's all this crazy stuff going? Percussion orchestral. Come on, guys. Come on. Why are we having any problem here? That's like a whole orchestral string ensemble. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see what this. Somebody mentioned violin, but I think it's just not. I'll have to think about this. Thinking about it. That could work. Before we do anything, where's that sound? Okay, now. Okay. 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. Okay. Can't show people my. Here. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now I can. Where was that sound that was not drum and bass? We want. It's giving me more incentive. Let me just see what's going on here. Start over again. Let's just see what's going on. Swirling river, riser. Welcome in. Let me just see what's going on with these people. 2 seconds. Apologies. If you have any realistic questions to ask, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. Music related, I've been doing music for over 40 something years, so I'm not like a spring chicken, if that answers any questions there. And I come from a family that is musically inclined, besides also coming from a family that grew up in different countries because my dad was a US diplomat. So they never gave me anything besides an education. I independently chose to work because I thought that working at a young age was important. I always think that's important. So at the age of 14, 15, I was already up and running with work. I'm now 46. Yeah. I don't know violin. Maybe. Violin sounds interesting, but is that really what I'm going for? I don't know. Studio strings. Oh, I could level out the volume, right? So maybe I should level out the volume here. Since I've done these kind of things, okay. If you do have any questions on production, feel free, but like don't hesitate to ask. I can answer majority of the questions. I've been doing production since Tokyo, since 1998, and then ever since I learned it in Tokyo, I've been kind of like growing and developing with compositions over time. And I think I have more. I didn't, like, part of my high school was in the States, but majority of it was like overseas, and then college was back in the States. So music that I do right now, I think, is a little bit more Asian in the approach. Like I lived more in Asia, so my music is not maybe a little bit house, but I don't think it's like completely Western. I don't think that is the whole case. Okay. Troublemakers are not allowed, so we're going to remove you now. Not everybody, folks, but this person is really becoming a hassle. Okay, 2 seconds. Like every classroom, you respect the instructor. You should be considered the instructor. And I'm doing this for free. name of the person? The name says it all, doesn't it? Okay. You guys need to come up with something a little bit more original. I can tell the difference now who's like legit and who's not. No, we do not allow that. Very interesting. Okay, we'll leave it for now. Okay. Purple volume samples now. Okay, now we're gonna adjust sections here, volume sections. I just need to double check. Adjusted that section, so I'm going through and modifying levels of volume right now, because I just feel like it's some sections are a little full. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing adjustments in certain areas for different track sections, because when you produce a song, you produce it in like levels. It's not just one flat sound. It's literally creating one level and one layer over another. And once you have a somewhat of a fuller idea, you can then go back and modify sections, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay. Any questions? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. But it has to be constructive discussion, not destructive. Okay. These parts we don't need, that's too busy. That makes more sense. So now I'm just adjusting segments here. Much better. And then there's more space to add other instruments, I suppose, right? And then that little heavy note, I'll adjust that later. Okay, I think that's better. So if you've seen the other lives, I don't know if you guys have come to see that, but if you've seen the other lives, you've seen the progression of how I've gotten to this point. And if you haven't seen it, maybe consider either watching a little clip of it so you can see what I've kind of worked on. Okay. And today I'm just removing over like the noise. There's too much noise in certain areas. So right now I'm just kind of filling or filtering out things that I might not necessarily need. Like some parts just sounded too busy, right? Yeah, I removed that. So that's, and then you can hear more of the piece. And then I lowered that volume a little loud. So say I can add the violin there. So the piece is in E flat minor. Yeah, minor, E flat minor. Okay. And then BPM is, what is the BPM? Beats per minute. Give me 2 seconds. I can't even figure out where it is. Beats in time. We want beat project. Yeah, E flat minor. 86 BPM, which is like the tempo of 86, I guess. And then it's in 4/4. If that kind of brings into consideration, you have to think of all these things to do before you start a piece. You have to identify what key signature that you're trying to start in. You need to know your scales. That's like key number 1, right? And then you need to understand what tempo you want, and then you have to understand the type of sound you want in regards to the composition. So do you want it as a house, or do you want it as drum and bass, or do you want it as classical, do you want it as reggae? These are all the things you need to think about, and then you have to break down the types of sounds you find in each one of those compositions. So my teacherly advice to people who are trying to learn a piece, I'd start with learning a piece that you enjoy, that you've heard, that you've tested, and then analyzing how to break that piece down, and then from there you kind of like build on a vocabulary of understanding. So the theory does become a very important factor of music. Now, if I've been doing it for something 43 years, right? 43 years. I'm like 46. Yeah, I started around 3-4 years old in Japan. That just shows you need to have a very vast vocabulary. And this is just the beginning. I'm just scratching the surface here. There is so much more to music production that is, it's discussed in a studio, but it's not really discussed on like, maybe more people are doing it on YouTube. I do think that this is the most realistic approach to constructing music, because then you have the evidence to prove. And I did do lives with TikTok, but it was just a little bit different, and now I'm like really hesitant because there's like this whole TikTok issue. So I'm like, I'm not going on to TikTok and producing anything, because I do not want the new group of people who own TikTok to have control over all the sounds that I've created. So I'm like, no way, Jose. I'm sticking on YouTube, and I respect the space. So that's why I'm here, and I'm kind of working on it. Or else I would be in other platforms. But I'm like, no, this is fine. This is fine. I'm okay with this, right? And I'd be sending it over to Facebook as well, but I stopped. I was like, it's too much work. I'm exhausted. And yeah, I'm too tired to even bother with that now. That sounds much cleaner. I think I like that. So what I did is I went over, if you have Logic Pro X, there's like a little section with these 2 buttons. That's like the volume section, and you can adjust the volume in these areas if you need to remove some sections like I did, right? I think I've done a couple of videos discussing certain things. This is like, I don't think this is beginners. I actually don't think you get into music production until you reach like college level. So what you're seeing right now is college level music. General music theory is what you start off with as somebody in music. You gotta learn the basics to understand to get to this point. You can teach it yourself, but it's still gonna require a substantial amount of research and study to get to this point, right? Yeah. Well, that did it so much better. It's just a little bit of an edit. Still needs something. I think it just needs a melody first, right? there's like a tune, but there's no real solid tune. Let me before I do the violin, or if I add strings, let me go back to the chord structure, which is the piano, right? Just to get a general. There might be something there, and then I can always adjust the sound later. Also, another musician I really enjoyed was, I don't know if you guys know BT, but I was like huge into BT. Back in like the 90s and 2000s when we used to go like party and clubbing, BT was like the song, that was the producer to listen to, right? He was like big in the scene, huge in the scene, huge. Okay. Brainstorming, guys, brainstorming. There probably needs to be a vocal here somewhere, but I'm still thinking of a melody if I'm going to do that. You can adjust the colors, so if you're if one gets confused with these, you can actually go in here and like personalize your colors. But like, you know, yeah, I'm sort of okay with this. Where is that part? Like, it's a bit heavy, so I need to figure out where this is. I think I need to go here and then adjust this. Oh, my little twins! Stay, don't fall on me, don't fall on me, Lord. Don't fall on me, cute. And then if you need to learn how to set up a studio, I do that as well. So the stuff you see in the back, I also made the soundproofing. So you can see the soundproofing. I studied the arts, meaning I know how to use tools and build things. So I find that when I come up with ideas, I always have to make sure that aesthetically I can figure out how to make things work as well. So the soundproofing I also created. Okay, this is easy to do. You just need like a few things and then you should get that together. Yeah. So I need to figure out where that sound is coming from. It's a little heavy on the notes there. I think it's this over here. Oh, it might be there. Okay. Okay. It is there. I think it's with this note specifically, right? Maybe not. Okay. I think it's this. Can you see volume? Swipe purple. Strength, velocity. And it shows you when you look at the section, look, it's a 90. Velocity is 90. So we need to lower these. And if you go through this, if you check it out, besides, like, you could have the sheet music. It creates the sheet music for you. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually going in and adjusting the volume on the notes that I've written or I've played on here. Like, there's no reason for that one. So we're going to delete that. That's okay. That's not bad. Let's do, that's a little heavy. So we're going to just lower that ever so slightly. It's the velocity section. And I don't generally move my iPad around for this. I know there might be another, not iPad, phone. So I may, what you could do if you're looking at this, I think if you're watching this from a screen and it's touch sensitive, you could probably zoom in and zoom out with your fingers. I think it works. I'm almost certain it works. So if you do have any, if you want to see a close-up, just zoom your finger in and out of the space, right? Okay, I think that's better. Let's see. Okay, before I do anything, always save. I've had experiences where the music disappears and then you have to start over again. That's happened to me. Or in my case, somebody stole my iPad, my not iPad, laptop at one point, and my songs were on there, and it was gone, like gone for good. Okay. And then say, for instance, you wanted to see the score, it gives you the sheet music. Okay, and I do like that. It even gives you the scale you're in. And if you, as you can see, if you can play them separately. Say you have a band and you need the band like reads music. You could send this to like the band, and they can learn the song. So I think Logic is useful because you can transpose the music into not just sound, but into sheet music, which I like because I do both. But I start with an idea from ear, and then if I need to do like let's share the music with a group of people, then I have that available as well if need be. So it does become a very useful tool, and I know you have it on, you can get Logic Pro on your iPad. So I just find that I needed a larger screen. This is a small screen, but if you're starting off and you need to produce songs, you can always start with the small screen on the iPad and then buy the $4 Logic Pro monthly with the GarageBand, which interlocks, and then you can use the iPad. But for me, I need to see everything because I now have all this equipment. So I can't just use it. Sometimes I can use it for the beats, but I have to see the actual construction. Okay, let's go back to piano roll. There are some notes that were not perfect in here, but I'll figure out later. So, yeah, okay, I'm just going to say it one more time just in case I lose anything. So I think it's important to acknowledge that a producer doesn't just do rap. I'm not a rapper. I don't do rap. I lived in South Africa. I am part South African, but it doesn't mean to say that my music is based off of, like, rapping. It's not, like, I enjoy making beats. I don't do things that are bad for my system. I'm a healthy person. So your mind has to be clear to produce a reasonable quality piece of music, right? That's not, you can't just go into a studio space or have your own equipment and then just think that you can put anything down and it's going to be fantastic. Because in the time of what you're doing is making you, telling you it's like fantastic, it might not actually be that fantastic. So a clear mind and a healthy lifestyle will create the best quality music. My personal opinion, that's how I think about it. And I think that it's a very clear structure on growth and development if you really want to focus on a good quality composition. It does require a little bit of like responsibility on your behalf to be a healthy citizen in your life so that your mind, body, and soul work together and function correctly. And that's my personal take on music. It's not just for people who are doing rap, but people have different types of ways of doing music, and that is my personal perspective on good quality music comes from a good healthy lifestyle and a cleaned mindset. That's my personal take on the whole thing. Okay. I don't do things that are bad for your system. Let me see. I'm kind of like stuck. I don't usually get stuck, but I think I'm stuck. Is that the new track? Yeah, new section? Okay. Oh, that's possible. That's one of my old parts. Okay, let's see the violin. work? I don't know what to do here. I don't know. I just don't want it to sound too, like, busy. Yeah, there are some pieces I need to. I can hear sections of it that I need to work on. Okay, that's good for now, I think. Yeah, I mean, I can continue with I need to do my Poshmark, and my Poshmark is generally on my phone. Okay, so that's interesting. I have to think about those areas, but I don't usually rush. I don't need to rush. I think when you're working by yourself with your own patterns and ideas and concepts, you don't have to worry about rushing to complete a track when somebody expects you to complete a track. I think giving yourself that time and your space to kind of analyze it, just like a painting. When you're painting a painting, you want to make sure that it looks right before you continue like drawing it. So you want to make sure that the depth is right, the angles are right, the color is right. And if it starts looking a little wonky, you want to go back and revise those sections. The same thing applies for music. If there's some stuff that is a little bit off, you want to go back and revise those areas. And I think today was a revision. I knew that there were some things that needed to be adjusted, so I adjusted some of the volume sections. I'm still debating about the violin. I'm thinking about it. I just don't know. I don't know if I want a violin or if I just want like a harmony or melody. Maybe I sing it. Something I need to think about. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've put any like humming melody sounds in the background, but it might be something I need to consider. So I have a mic here. I mean, I can always go back and like put it in, but we'll see. I'll probably experiment with the idea first if I really think about it, but I still need to have a melody of some sort. I don't know what it's going to be. I think it's a little heavy. I'm not sure if I like the violin. I need to think about this. Percussion on keyboard. Woodwind, maybe flute. I like the flute better. It's not so heavy. I used to play flute. Maybe flute. work. Okay, so it's an idea right now, but I have it recorded, not on this, but I have it recorded, sorry. And that's what's nice about like recording your music on a live, so you can hear, like I've told students in the past, you need to have something that you've recorded on. If you record on the phone and then experiment with a composition or idea, at least you have that, so you can go back and check on the music. The same thing applies for production. If you're experimenting and coming up with ideas, you want to have some place to like go back and revise. I still find that a YouTube live, if you're doing production, might be the easiest and fastest way to store your evidence that you've tried and experimented with a concept. So that's why I do it on here. It's just easier, and then it saves time by, oh my gosh, I don't know where I put the like track. So you have it. It's on here. It's like, it's evidence, you know? Thank you for popping over. I don't know if anybody's here. So yes, okay. So you're hearing a composition. I think I'm gonna call it a day. It takes, this has been, what, 3 o'clock for an hour? No, 2 hours, 3 hours? I'm not sure. Let's see the situation. I just want to give me 2 seconds to assess the situation. Do I have any messages from any important people here? Okay, no, not yet. Okay, folks, I'm gonna call it a day. I do appreciate everybody who stopped by and popped over briefly, but if you do have any specific questions, let me know. I basically had to analyze the piece today. I went through individual sections. If you're wanting to, like, this is also for my reference, right? I went back and I modified some areas where it sounded a little too busy, so I like adjusted the volume in certain places, which is what that's about. And that is basically what I worked on today. I think that is, I should do, I don't know how much, 2 hours, I don't know, maybe I could do 2 hours. I have to think about it. I need to come back and revise this because I just want to make sure that the areas that I place, instead of the violin, somebody had mentioned the violin, I'm going to try a flute, because I think the flute has a little bit more of a subtle sound. The violin is a little heavy, but the flute has a little bit of a vocal. So say, for instance, I want to add a bit of vocal somewhere. That flute will just be an underlying source for whatever melody or whatever it is I'm thinking about. So that's, I think a flute would be, so instead of a violin, the flute, by re-listening to it and modifying some sections for the volume, will be what I'm going to do next. Okay, thank you again. Arigato gozaimashita. If you're in Japan or wherever, thank you very much. And I will be back next week, or maybe later this week. I don't know, we'll see. Have a good one.